Apli Chao is a small island connected by a bridge to the south of Hong Kong. The population density is about 66,000 of people per kilometer square, making it the second most densely populated island in the world. We can watch sampans across the busy harbor, old temples and shipyards dot the island's shoreline, and traditional festivals still bestow the streets every year with a series of celebration activities. Though the face of Apli Chao is rapidly changing, but the rustic village feel still remains, at least for now.
一世生意，點解咧？由細路仔冇讀書點好差。鴨脷洲俾個花佬你睇下，鴨脷洲就咁樣。你問到我，你有口福啦。因為我儲晒我自己嘅人珍藏喺度。我做咗我自己嘅，我幾兄弟，我哋自己做咗我自己嘅鴨脷洲，我自己嘅珍藏。呢度鴨脷洲。舊時嘅鴨脷洲，唔係即係呢度而你睇下啦，呢度咧就鴨脷洲洪聖廟。舊時我哋嘅主要街道咧就由洪聖廟有個街道，有個碼頭，呢紅丁街叫洪聖廟，有個街道嘅碼頭，呢個碼頭咁過嚟香港仔過嚟，我哋主要交通工具就係呢個碼頭啦。鴨脷洲呢張就係空中直升機影嘅，鴨脷洲呢度。呢個位啦，鴨脷洲避風塘舊時咁窄嘅，全部船嚟嘅。呢條鴨脷洲香港仔用直升機影嘅，呢度就係啲漁船中間海，明唔明 ？OK， 呢度就係鴨脷洲嘅直升機影嘅，我搜查啲資料搜晒嘅，未有可疑，呢度係可疑，明白？鴨脷洲最早期嘅位置就係咁樣，你真係呢度鴨脷洲準備填海嘅時候就係咁樣嘅。鴨脷洲就是咁樣嘅。小心啊！小心！鴨脷洲可疑，未有可疑，舊時係發電廠嚟嘅。呢度就係你走去香港仔太白碼頭。香港仔太白碼頭過海鮮舫嗰個碼頭就係呢個碼頭啦。最重要一張珍寶海鮮舫火燭我影咗，你未？睇到啦，你睇下啦，呢個你嚟嘅，你阿媽都未出世，唔好話你拍到
脚边的空气转流。
The Hongsheng Festival falls on the 13th day of the second lunar month. Like many of the gods worshipped and celebrated in Hong Kong, Hongsheng was originally a historical figure who was later deified. The man behind the immortal was Hong He, who served as governor of Panyu in Guangdong province during the Tang dynasty. Hong was a respected astronomer and geographer who helped forecast the weather for fishermen and merchants. Always seeking order in a capricious world, Chinese people have worshipped him ever since. Today in Hong Kong, the Hongsheng Festival is marked mostly by fishermen who feel indebted to his name. Also, there is celebrations in Apli Chao. The coastal neighborhood of Apli Chao on the southern side of Hong Kong Island also celebrates the festival. Apli Chao has a 240-year-old Hongsheng temple and marks the festival with dragon and lion dances, traditional processions, Chinese opera, and more.
年年都嚟呢度買嘅，
年年都係嚟擺檔。
喺呢度擺檔。
咁你覺得呢個紅聖誕點樣啊？個感覺係點？
感覺就去忙咯，啲人好多人嚟咯。
好多人嚟。
你覺得依家多唔多後生嘅人嚟，即係去參加呢個紅聖誕？
後生真係少嘅，多數上咗年紀啲人。
多數都係
多數上咗年紀嗰啲人咯。
咁你覺得呢個節日以前到而家有咩變化？
咁而家又多咗重即係佢有假期咧，就又重期咯，遊街咯，有飄色嗰啲咁咯。咁啊梗係開心啦！咁多人，咁多人行嚟行去，有人荷擔咁啊買完好嚟燭香咁樣咯，裝香啊咁拜神咯。啲老人家嚟嘅啫，嗰啲上咗後生唔興㗎啦而家。以前咧就興咗有個誕會啊，幾多10份啊咁樣咯。而家啲誕會都唔興㗎啦，啲老人家走一個行又行唔喐，有啲走咗去咯。
Friendsgiving Chinese opera is one of the focus of the Hongxing Festival. The public can enjoy a range of Cantonese opera during the festival inside the Bamboo Theatre. Cantonese opera is originated in southern China's Guangdong province, and it is popular in Guangdong, Guangxi, Hong Kong, and among the Chinese community in Southeast Asia. Like all versions of Chinese opera, Cantonese opera is a highly respected and much-loved art form that blends Chinese legends, music, and drama into a vibrant performance style that's rich with symbolic meaning. Most of the plots are based on Chinese history and famous Chinese classics and myths. Also, the culture and philosophies of the Chinese people can be seen in the plays. Virtues like loyalty, love, patriotism, and faithfulness are often reflected by the operas. Other than providing solely entertainment to the public, the Chinese opera is mainly for people to express their gratitude to the gods. In every child, the opera usually lasts for 4 days from day to night. A shrine is placed in front of the Bamboo Theatre, and it looks like the opera is specially played to the god. Local residents prepare the opera in order to express their gratitude to Hong Sheng-ye that has been protected him from the sea throughout the years.
Well, actually, I'm teaching a class this semester at, Lake Gongdai. So I'm teaching at Pali U and Chinese culture class. So because I'm researching ritual and theater and local customs, so I thought this is a good opportunity to come see some traditional festival. It's 2 classes. One is called like a Feng Su Li or something, and the other one is also similar, like, 中国传统风俗 or something like that.
So how much do you know about this festival?
Not a lot. I mean, I know that it's, 这个洪圣爷.
How do you know who is Hong Sheng?
I've read about some history. He's like from like Haishen or something, right? But he's a historical figure too, I think, from like some dynasty, I guess. And so it's like people who have like ships maybe pray to him or something. 我有一个朋友，他说我们常常要去拜那个洪圣，因为他在一个那个 shipping company 工作，所以 shipping company 的人，他们通常都要去那个洪圣庙拜拜。But I didn't know about this very much before I come here.
Do you think the government or the society can further promote this festival?
I mean, I guess so. It seems relatively small, like maybe only old people know about it. I asked all my students, 你有没有去过这种？他们都说没有，所以我就觉得，连香港人都不知道有这么一个，Hong Kong traditional festival. So maybe they can, promote it more or something. I don't know. I mean, you guys can tell me more whether there's some other traditional Hong Kong festivals that, young people in Hong Kong might be more likely to go to. I mean, of course, New Year's, there's a lot of festivals, but it's not as, maybe because it has to do with fishermen, if you don't have some connection to fishing and sea, then you don't come to see.
即係就話紅聖誕即係區議會或者政府咧嗰個角色點睇咧？其實咧政府區議會咧有個即係指引嘅，就譬如佢任何嗰啲即係撥款申請咧，就唔會係有宗教即係有信仰即係拜神啊嗰啲咧，佢係唔會做呢個。即係唔會支持去做，即係話撥款俾你搞呢個活動啊咁樣。今年咧係南區區議會咧就係一個舉辦一個旅遊文化節，咁咧就邀請埋即係呢個紅聽寶誕即係合辦嘅團體咁樣，即係都推廣啲文化歷史嘅啫咁樣。咁至於就款項嗰方面咧。我理解咧就今年佢哋嗰個主辦嘅單位咧就邀請咗華人廟宇啊管理委員會嗰度咧就有啲撥款咧資助佢哋嘅，幾多我就唔清楚咁樣。因為有時好多文化歷史嘅嘢咧，你唔去保留佢去推廣佢咧，你就失㗎啦，失傳㗎。因為咧旅遊文化節咧，即係呢個紅聽寶誕咧，加咗入去呢個旅遊文化節咧，咁旅遊文化節咧就有一個宣傳嘅推廣嘅，即係叫做有個顧問公司啦。咁我冇記錯咧，好似嗰日咧睇放爬龍船同埋放燈喺東網嗰度，好似有幾萬人棘入去睇喎，讚喎！即係因為呢個都係要宣傳嘅。咁因為旅遊文化節咧就因為冇錢撥到俾即係俾呢個團體咧去搞，咁但係咧可以宣傳就係為咩啊？就係即係推廣呢個哇200幾年㗎咯，呢間廟喺呢度，即係想保留佢嗰個文化啫嘛，就係咁樣咯。咁同埋呢個紅
你知道，就算大雨让这座城市颠倒，我会给你怀抱。受不了，看见你背影来到，写下我度秒如年的爱的离骚。就算整个世界被寂寞绑票，我也不会奔跑，跑不了。
It is ubiquitous to see various shops selling dried seafood in Ablay Chao. Since Ablay Chao has been an area full of fishermen, on one hand, people here are familiar with making different dried seafood. On another hand, they get used to have seafood for their meals. In the past, they generally sold seafood which were caught by themselves. Nowadays, due to the declining fishing industry, they can only rely on the fish shipped from mainland. In addition to the construction of MTR station and modern development in recent years, rental prices in Ablay Chao have been skyrocketing. These small shops are facing challenges again apart from the declining fishing industry before. Facing the high rent, they have only two choices: to leave or to stay with heavy financial burden.
咁呢度演變咧都演變得好大嘅，睇住佢就填海啦，即係可講話唏噓啊，變咗冇晒啲漁民出海啊，即係冇晒呢個香港仔嗰個即係漁港嗰個特色啊！以前呢個漁港特色咧，真係好多漁船翻嚟，亦好多魚糧嘅翻嚟嚇，佢翻嚟一定有魚糧噶嘛，咁啊變咗我哋香港人咧就好多即係可以食到不同嘅魚咯，咁即係變咗依家就唔係咯，有好多係進口嘅嘢啊，翻嚟食咯，變咗啊，即係轉變嘅就係即係點講啊？建築物多咗咯，好多建築物啊，即係填海又起建築物，同埋即係建築物好多啊。 即係亦有人搬出去，亦有人搬入嚟。但係有地鐵呢，即係我講唔知有句話唔係咁理想，就係呢度啲人錯覺以為有地鐵呢就會賴旺咗鴨脷洲好多，嗰啲租金就不斷咁上升，甚至嗰啲樓價呢都係咁喺度飄啊，因為有賣地王添啊，鴨脷洲賣地個地王呢。啊，即係嗰個駕駛學院嗰邊啊，賣嗰個地王咧，賣到咁高價啦，即係會係仲會飄高咗啊啲樓價，即係覺得係即係冇咁值咯喺鴨脷洲，即係如果大街嚟計啊嚇，即係因為佢係你想去咩景啫，又冇咩景，又唔係話啲乜嘢即係咁旺嘅地方嚇。即係有，即係見仁見智啦。如果我自己睇嘅真係唔係咁值呢個，即係貴過出邊個價錢咯。即係你話銅鑼灣啊，即係尖東啊，旺角啊嗰啲人，即係人流人往啊，人哋嗰啲租金貴得嚟，人哋真係有人流咯。鴨脷洲真係唔係有呢個人流喺度，但係你個租金飄咗上去，如果你喺度做生意嘅，你真係除非你好有信心同埋好有經驗啊！如果你冇信心同埋冇咁嘅經驗去試呢，我覺得你都幾慘啊！我呢度呢，就我搬過幾次啊嚇，因為我喺嗰邊以前舊街市嗰邊未有市政大樓，我就喺嗰邊舊街市嗰邊就喺嗰邊做嘅。我前後呢家屬於做咗24年啦。做咗24年，我呢度呢個鋪位咧都10幾年啦，我呢度都我主要咧就係賣即係糧油雜貨啊、海產啊嗰啲咁啦。糧油雜貨咧就我方便啲街坊，即係唔中意去超級市場買啊，或者喺街市門口即係費事行啊，咁咪喺度買咯嚇。但係啲價錢咧就唔可以太貴，貴咧佢就會行翻去超級市場買啊，即係咁咯啊。同埋嗰啲海產啊，海產我哋憑經驗去做嘢咯，即係因為我哋由細即係對住啲即係嗰啲海產啊，咁啊經驗啊豐富啲啦，同埋啲漁民咧識嗰班漁民啊，佢哋自己直接攞上嚟交俾我，咁樣我就有少少嘅生存空間咯，同埋自己做翻啲鹹魚啊，咁啊嗱，依家係做緊鹹魚啊咁樣啊，自己曬翻嚟賣啊，咁即係都係咩？即係一個生存空間咯。你話如果租金貴嘅，我哋都生存唔到，即係有心理準備就會唔做咯。啊，因為你唔即係你賣2條鹹魚，係咪可以夠交租咧？唔得啊，變咗就未必都生存到啊！如果租金貴嘅嚇，即係都係一個可悲嚟嘅，喺呢度做嘢都嚇，即係咁。
这是一首简单的小情歌，唱着我们心头的白鸽。我想我很适合当一个歌颂者。
When it comes to Hong Kong, what immediately pop up in our minds are the international financial hub or fascinating heaven of shopping or cuisine. We want our home to be more attractive, more prosperous, and more incredible, so it seems reasonable for us to keep on developing this city. We reclaim larger lands, we construct higher buildings, we open more shops. Meanwhile, we lost more sea area, we lost the old shops, we lost the traditional culture. Pursuing development and prosperity gradually makes us forget our origin. Hong Kong was originally a small fishing village. the old generation has been making every effort to maintain their fishing industries. Urban development should never be mutually exclusive with cultural preservation. It is believed that, with the concerted effort, we can preserve this marine heritage from generations to generations.
候鸟飞多远，也想念着南方。旅人的天涯，到尽头还是家。下一站，还感觉不来是冷还是暖。天一亮，我要离开。如果我回来，有没有人等待？如果我孤单，会不会谁明白？想象着再见面，却怕自己不勇敢，想拥抱在你胸怀。时光隧道传来回音，请你听一听，那是我们当时幸福约定。有些人在心底从来没忘记，有些事，有些梦还找不到谜底，有些话越语言幼稚就越是动听，让我们靠近，想悄悄告诉你多爱你。那颗心还一直守候没离去，走偏了却时间还是你最亲密。